Hello, my name is Tanner Teese, and in this video I will be showing you a demo of the Acumatica ERP system as if we were demoing to a distribution client. So before we get started, I'd like to mention a few things about Acumatica. Acumatica is a cloud-based solution, which means it can be accessed from anywhere that you have an internet connection, as well as on any device. The screen will automatically resize to fit the device you're using so that it doesn't affect your user experience at all. And Acumatica is actually born in the cloud, as they say as well. And what that means is that it was developed from the ground up to be a cloud solution. So you're going to have better stability and better performance than with a solution that began as a legacy product and then they had to figure out how to port it over and make it work in the cloud. A comparison I like to use is if I'm a photographer, I'm going to go buy a very nice camera that was developed for the sole purpose of taking the best pictures rather than using a camera that's embedded in my cell phone because it's just not going to be up to the same standard. Lastly, Acumatica is very easy to scale and customize, and upgrades provide very little downtime to the client to keep you working and get you back up and running quickly. So the first thing we're going to talk about is logging into the system. I simply opened a browser and came to my Acumatica URL, type in my user and password, and we're in. There's also two-factor authentication available if you want extra security. What you would do is link your user to your cell phone, and every time you log in on the browser, it's going to send a push notification to your cell phone and force you to authenticate there as well before letting you log in the rest of the way through the browser. So when we get logged in here, first thing you're going to see is your dashboard, and these are all easily configurable, modifiable, and we'll come back to that later. But for now, I want to show you up at the top here, you can see your user, change settings in your profile or sign out. There's help to get help on different topics that are associated with the screen you're viewing. You can change the system date. But right here, we can actually go in and very quickly and easily change between our different companies, different branches. So you can see if I go into my main company here, very quick to switch. But then if I go into one of my branches down here, I've actually changed the color in the system so that it gives me a visual cue that I'm logged into this company. That way I make sure I'm not transacting the wrong company. If I'm switching between them, I want to make sure when I'm going to enter my transactions that I'm in the company that I intend to be in. So not a huge thing, but it is very helpful to those who are running in multiple companies or have multiple branches to be able to easily navigate between those. The menus in Acumatica are all organized into these tabs on the left that are called workspaces. So if I go into the sales order workspace, you'll see that I get a quick menu here of my most commonly used tasks. If I want to see more options, I can click to show the full menu here. And this is very easy to modify what shows where by just going down to edit menu here. And anything that you check is going to show up, whereas anything that you uncheck is not going to be in the quick menu. So if I uncheck all this under preferences and save that, now you'll see when I go to the quick menu, there is no preferences section. When you click into some of these, you're going to get a list view. So right now I am viewing all sales orders in the system. These are easy to add filters, move columns around, sort, very easy to manipulate everything. So right now I'm only seeing open. I can clear that, or maybe I want to select all of them and see all types. I can move maybe my date after my customer names, just a simple click and drag. If I want to sort ascending by date. Very easy to change anything you want to see in here. If we go back to our main sales orders workspace here, these tiles at the top, rather than taking you into a list, are going to take you into a form for that specific procedure or function. So this new sales order here, rather than seeing a list of sales orders, it's actually going to take me to the form to create a new sales order. And Acumatica is very robust in functionality. Under our sales orders here, you can see that there's the pick, pack, and ship functionality. Under our purchasing, we have our receive and put away. There's even things such as projects. If we go to our more items here, we can see we have fixed assets, contract management, deferred revenue, a lot of good stuff that you don't see in a lot of other legacy systems. If we go under our marketing, we also have our, you can do mass emails, marketing campaigns. So the marketing and CRM are built in. That's a good thing to have. And if all else fails and you're still having trouble finding what you're looking for, this universal search up here is a very powerful tool. So if I do USA bar, you can see under my menu items or under my transactions here, it shows my different AR invoices. I have my customer record for USA bartending customer, shipments, everything under there. And they would even search different help topics from the knowledge base. You can search files that are attached to any kind of transaction. So I had attached a picture to one of them, and we'll come back to this later, but just to show you that I can see this file just by searching the file name is attached to this invoice. And then another thing is, if we are looking at our USA bar here, I can actually continue typing and restrict it even further. So maybe I type in invoice, and now we're not going to see, you know, our customer record or different things like that because it's looking for that invoice. So very powerful tool up there. And again, if you were looking for something in the menu, just by typing in sales, I could see all my different, this is the stuff under my data views, under my receivables workspace, all the different menu items that would fall under sales. So very powerful tool and makes navigating the system or finding things much easier. So next, let's look at our dashboards here. Customer view dashboard, I'll clear that out. So with these dashboards, you're able to get a very good look at everything that's going on as related to my customers. I can see that I have 6 orders ready to ship. I can see I have 131 overdue opportunities. The reason that this is in red is because that's a lot of overdue opportunities. This is in green because these orders are ready to ship. Open opportunities, not really bad or good, so they're signifying it in blue. But just gives you a really, you know, with the color coding and everything, gives you a really good ability to just glance at this and get the information you need. These are also all able to drill down into. So maybe I want to drill in on my graph here, and it's going to show me the information behind the scenes related to that. The other nice thing about Acumatica that I might as well mention as well while it's doing this is it opens a lot of things in a separate tab. And that's nice to me in a cloud solution, because if you want to be able to compare things, you don't want it to just constantly take you to a new screen, and the only way to see what was on the other screen is by going back, and then you can't see what's on the current screen. So it's nice for comparison purposes to be able to have things side by side like that. You can also, I'll go back to our menu items here, but this also happens with any of these. I can right click on them and open it in a new tab or a new window. If I, by default, something like this is going to open in my current window, but I can always come in and say open it in a new tab or a new window, so that way I don't lose my place to where I was at before. So back to our customer view dashboard here. So again, these are very easy to customize. Come up here and hit our design button. I can move these things around. I can add new. I can change anything I want. Add new widgets. Gives me all my different options. So a lot of robust functionality here. The other nice thing is that there are parameters. So since we're looking at our customer view dashboard here, one of my parameters is customer account. So if I choose our USA bartending school, now it's restricting my same dashboard information down to only this customer. And so you hear a lot about people trying to provide a 360-degree view of the customer, and you don't really see anybody actually accomplishing that. But this is a true 360-degree view of this customer, all the information I could possibly want about them and restricted to just them. So very powerful and useful tool there. And of course, they have many, many different dashboards. If we go back to our controller dashboard, if you were doing the accounting, again, information that is very specific to their role and easy to customize anything that you want to on here to make it your own. The other thing is that the lists have conditional formatting. So if we go back to our customer view here, let's get rid of our parameter. And if we go into open opportunities, for example, you can see that red is usually something bad or overdue. Yellow would be something that's missing, and then green is going to show you good things. So if we click through some of these other ones, you can see this opportunity was 1, so that's green. So yeah, very easy to, again, at a glance, get the information you're looking for and pick out which records based on the conditional formatting need your attention. And one other thing, just to jump back to our workspaces, you can see the stars next to some of these. That's just because I've clicked and added the star. And what that is it's adding it as a favorite. So when you add things to your favorites like this, and it can be tiles, it can be the menu items, anything. When you go up to your favorites tab or favorites workspace over here, that's what you're going to see then, is anything that you've added to your favorites. So maybe you're only using a few functions from each of the different workspaces. You add them all to your favorites, and then now you have one workspace that would have every different function that you need to be able to do for your job. So now we can see this separates it in a separate payables section as well, and my sales orders. So very easy to make one menu that I would be able to do everything I need to do for my job right from this one menu. Greatly increases efficiency and lowers frustration on the user level. So let's get into actually going through the sales order to invoice process. So let's first come in our sales orders workspace here and do a new sales order. And with our customer or with any fields in Acumatica, I can hit the lookup to select from a list. Or if I would rather, I can start typing and use my autocomplete to select it. You can see all the different details of the transaction, whether it be the document details, the payment, the shipment, are all organized in these different tabs, just so that it's easier to keep things clean and doesn't overwhelm you with all the information on one window. So I can do a couple things here. I could first come in and add some items manually. And you'll see I have a lot of fields here that I didn't really need to use. So if you want to, again, these are just the same as any other list. I can drag and move things around if I want them in a different order or sort by different things. But if you want to just get rid of some of these columns in general that you're not using, you can come over here. You see all your available columns on the left and all the selected ones on the right. Maybe I don't need some of these ones. And you can just remove them. So again, very easy to manipulate and make this look and feel how you want it to look and feel. And this is all user specific. So if we come in here and enter our quantity, pulls our price in. I can also use these buttons over here to add notes to specific records very easily. If I wanted to attach something to this, I already attached this one to a different one, my Audi picture, but we can easily just drag that from wherever the file is, hover it anywhere over your screen here, and it's going to add it. So very simple drag and drop to attach document. Now you see when I go up to the files here, there's one there, and I can see the picture available. So I've used other systems that have some document attach functionality, but again, it's usually not anywhere near as simple as that using a drag and drop, and they're usually not searchable, which every file, every attachment is all searchable using the universal search up there like we showed before. So very good functionality there to increase efficiency and make sure you're not struggling to find what you're looking for. There are also notifications we can set up. So if I go to my notification here and I do create new, you would be able to set up any kind of condition you would want and provide a notification. So maybe as soon as this order is ready to be shipped, send an email to whoever my processor is so that they know that it's ready for them to continue processing. And so that's all very easy to set up in here. Choose your emails that you want to go to, choose your conditions, send a message to them, and even attach any other kind of reports and stuff that are needed for them. These windows are also very keyboard friendly, so if I am in my inventory field here, I can just arrow down and it'll create a new row for me. If I want to delete the row, I can hit the X up here. Very simple, very quick. Another great feature is this add stock item. So if I go in here and click this, what this is going to show me is everything that this customer has purchased in the last, right now I'm looking at all items. I could do sold since and have a date range. And so this is going to tell me what item they purchased, what quantity they purchased, what the last price was, and when they purchased it. And so if a customer calls and says, you know what, I want another order of the same thing I had last time, I could come in here and just simply choose what I want to add to my order, do my add and close, and now it automatically added that item with the same quantity and price and everything that they purchased last time. So very simple to do, but yet it saves you a lot of trouble on the entry side and allows you to be much more efficient like we discussed. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish up on this order and say to go ahead and create the shipment for it. It's asking me for my warehouse. And you can see the timer running here. So now it's got my shipment created. And then from here, I can very easily go through and confirm my shipment, as well as prepare the invoice. and all the way through to emailing the invoice to my customer. So all very quick, easy to do. There's actually also quick processes that you can set up. So if we go back to enter a new sales order, use my type ahead to find USA Bartending. You can see this quick process button here. I could set up this process to automatically confirm the shipment, turn it to an invoice, and email it out. And then that way, once I get done entering my sales order here, if I know it's good to go, I can just hit the quick process and have it do all those other steps for me instantly. Another thing is if a customer sends you maybe an Excel file with their purchase order details in it, I can come down here and load records from file. Got my purchase order here from the customer, upload. And then it'll give us our column mapping. Because I had a couple of columns in my purchase order document that were called inventory ID and quantity, it automatically mapped those for me. I didn't have one called description, so I can map, well, I should say in my Excel file, my column is called description. There's nothing that's just simply description for it to map to here, which is why it didn't map it automatically, but we want to map that to our line description. So now when I hit OK, as long as my mapping is correct, you'll see it pull everything into here for you and automatically enter it. So what would have taken me probably 10 minutes to hand key each of these, just sucked them right in from Excel in a matter of seconds. So very useful. From here, I can also go into my shipment settings, and we have this nice shop for rates function. And this is going to tie directly to FedEx, UPS, USPS to be able to find your different rates for your packages. So now that we see what our options are, let's just choose FedEx Ground. We see our packages show up, and it knows that we're going to need an extra large box to be able to ship this. Go ahead and hit OK. And so now it's added the FedEx Ground and those shipping costs. So now that we've added our freight, we can go in and print our label. But before that, I want to just show you our customization up here. Manage user-defined fields. I can add different user-defined fields. Maybe this one's based on color. And when we go back to our order, you can see now there's a tab for user-defined fields here, and it shows my different user-defined fields for those transactions. And I think I clicked out of our order here, so I'll just recreate it really quickly. Go into our shipping settings, shop for rates again. We'll choose our FedEx Ground, medium box. And so you can see our freight cost is showing up in here now, $16.24. So now let's go through and create our shipment. Go ahead and confirm it. And you can see now that it's confirmed, I can go over to my Packages tab. I see that I have my one medium box here, and if I click here, I can actually print my shipping label right from here. So already tied into all the shipping, don't need any extra software, able to get my label, stick it on the box, and send the product out. Very, very simple and includes everything that you would need to do. So just to recap what we've shown, we were able to enter a new sales order, add specific notes to the transaction, attach different files, set up notifications based on conditions so that people will be emailed or notified in some other way that they need to take action. We were able to change columns, hide columns, rearrange things on the form to make it more user-friendly or fit your preferences. There was the add stock item feature where we could see what was previously purchased and just add it to our existing order. We were able to shop for our rates and add our freight automatically as well as print our label. And then we were finally able to transfer to invoice and email it to the customer. All very quick, very easy. We were also able to import a larger order from file that a client had sent us. And finally, just to show you again, if we go up and use our universal search under my files, I now see that that is attached to two different, one invoice and one sales order. So anything that you've attached, you can search for very easily. So the next thing we're going to do is show how we would replenish our inventory now that we know how to sell it. So I'm going to go under my inventory and I have prepare replenishment. I'm going to choose wholesale for my warehouse. And then I'm going to uncheck this me box here. So I can see that I have two different items that are ready to be replenished. So let's say I want to do my first one here. I can check this box, go up and hit process. One of them was processed, so that means it's now ready to be purchased. So now we can go over to our purchasing module and go under our processes to create purchase orders. And our item is right here on top. All we have to do is check that, go to process, and it'll create our purchase order for us here. By default, it's on hold, so we can go ahead and uncheck that. And once everything's good, we just need to come up to our actions, approve it, or if you weren't an admin user like I am, you would be able to submit for approval, and then maybe you have a notification set up to go to the purchasing manager, who would then see the notification, go in and do the final approval. But I'm going to go ahead and approve it myself here. And so you can now see that it's showing approved right here. And I could go out and email that purchase order. Once I receive the product, I can go in and enter my PO receipt. Everything right there from start to finish. So again, very quick, very easy to understand which items are getting low on inventory, set them up to be purchased, and then have it create the purchase order for you based off that. It's just something you aren't going to see in any legacy systems that you would be currently using. So now that we've seen the sales and purchasing processes, I'd like to jump over to reporting. There are 4 different types of reports in Acumatica: standard, financial, generic inquiries, and pivot tables. So we're going to start over on our sales orders here. And under the report section over here, we're going to do sales order details by customer. And you can choose your start and end dates. I'm going to just jump back another month here so we get a little bit more data. There's a lot of other parameters, sorts, filters you could add here. And anything that you do add, you know, if I chose a specific customer or warehouse, you can go up and hit this Save Template. and save those settings and those parameters, so then the next time you come in here to run it, you would just go ahead and select what template you have and have it populate those settings automatically. I'm just going to go ahead and run this report as is. And the first thing you're going to notice are the blue hyperlinks, and that's because Acumatica reports are real-time and allow drill down. So I can see this sales order here. If I click on it to drill into it, it's going to open it in another tab and show me all the details of that sales order. So very easy if you're trying to investigate a discrepancy to get in there and see exactly what happened behind the scenes to cause what you're seeing on the report. As you can see, the report is already grouped by individual customers. I can go up here and I can print it out. I can send it via email to somebody, or I could export it to Excel, PDF, any number of things. If we look at a financial report, go to our finance workspace, under reports, let's do a P&L rolling 12-month. And again, I'm just going to run the report as is. As you can see, it generates very quickly. And again, you have the same drill down functionality. I could go to my sales revenue here, and I can see GL details. I could access individual accounts or sub-accounts, and I can even see the batches individually that are affecting or making up that balance in that account. So again, not only drill down functionality, but the ability to drill completely down all the way to the transaction level. In financial statements like this, there's also this little groups button here that I'd be able to see. I guess I have to go back and set them up here. Hold on. So let's close this down, go back to our report settings here, click this edit report. Actually, I think I was just drilled down too far. Let's go back and just run that report. And so from the main view here, if I click my groups, now I can see that I can get an entire consolidated report for everybody. Or if I want to just see my retail branch, here's my P&L for retail, or my services branch, P&L for that. Very easy to switch those. If I want to go back and change how that grouping is, I can come to my unit set here, and maybe instead of branches, I want to do product lines. So I save that. Let's get out of there. Now you can see when we come back into the report and choose our groupings, it's grouped by product line instead of by branch. So if I want to see just how my food items are performing, I can get a P&L by that product category. So again, very easy to modify. Nice that it has the drill down functionality and everything is in real time. And the ability to share is very easy as well, multiple different formats. So reporting is also not lacking at all. Everything can be customized to the way that you want to see it. So next, let's discuss filters a little bit. If I go to my, let's just do payables, and maybe we'll do our approved bills for payment. So in here, I can see all my different bills that are ready to be paid. If I want to come up here and add a filter, let's say that the balance is greater than, we'll do, let's do 100,000. Let me step back for a second here. So we're going to do our new filter. Balance is greater than our 100,000. Save it. You can enter the name. So I'm going to say over 100K. And you can see it restricted us to our bills that are over 100K. But the nice thing is that it added our filter as a tab here. And so I can go back and see all records, or I can come over and see my over 100K, and this filter is going to stick. So the next time I come back in here, I can see my over 100K tab that I would be able to easily click over to. I could set that to say I want that to be my default tab. I could share it so that it's available to other users who come into this screen. They'll also see a tab for over 100K. So very easy to manipulate your lists and how you see them once again. The other thing is schedules. So let's go back to our payables here. And we'll go into prepare payments. And we'll just choose our payment method as check. So if we go up to here, this is our schedule button. I can go up and hit add. So let's say every Thursday you're going to prepare your checks and send them out, print them out and send them. So I can come in here and name my schedule ID, whatever I want, give it my description of preparing payments. I can say when I want it to start on, my execution limit and what to keep, but under my schedule here, this is where I could go and say I want to schedule weekly, every Thursday, and maybe at 2 in the afternoon. I want to go in and have it print my checks for me so that I don't have to worry about it. So under your conditions here, you'd be able to choose, maybe due date is older than today's date. So if it's overdue, I want to make sure I pay it, or maybe it's, is within 10 days of the due date, something like that. Those are the ones that I want selected every time this process or schedule runs to go ahead and do that for me. So again, automation just to increase efficiency and reduce the workload on your employees. So one of the last things we're going to go into here is our mobile and CRM. So let's look at the mobile real quick. I'm just going to take this back to our normal dashboard. Just bear with me here. Drag my phone over here so you can see it. Okay, and so on my mobile device, all I need to do is open up the Acumatica app. I can sign in with my fingerprint. And when you're signed in here, you can see very easy to use menu and also not restricted. I mean, there is a lot of stuff you can do here from the mobile app, just as you would be able to do it in the normal app. So for instance, our sales orders that we went through creating. I can come in here, hit my little plus at the bottom, and I could go ahead and create a new sales order right here from my phone and have it sent to Acumatica and see it in the browser. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the main menu here, and we're going to choose expense claims. We're going to go ahead and hit new. Just going to go business lunch. And we're going to go down and hit our details here. And under the details, I could choose what branch I want it associated with. I can also go ahead and add receipts. Hit my little attach here. I can say go to the camera. Take a picture of my receipt. And that's now attached there. Excellent. Let's go ahead and hit our check. And so now we see it here. And it's showing the status of on hold right now. We can go ahead and hit submit. And so now you can see it showing as pending approval. And so now that it's saved and submitted, we can come back into Acumatica here on our browser, go to our expense claims, and see it right here as pending, business lunch, Maxwell Baker, who I was logged in as, and we can click and see our receipt attached. Obviously, it's not a good picture, but very easy for those people out in the field to log in on their mobile, enter expense claims like that, and have it come back in real time, notify whoever needs to be notified so that they can approve it and get it completed and reimbursed to the employee. So again, anything that you can do in the system, almost everything is available in the mobile application as well. Even if it's just looking up a contact. So we can see I'm in here as a contact. You can see all the different details about me. So very quick and very responsive as well. So very powerful, and this is going to work on Android, Apple, phones, tablets, any mobile device that you have. So very cool. So finally, let's look at some of the CRM stuff. We can go back to our, let's do the salesperson dashboard. And so in here, I can see all my leads, all my different opportunities, what I'm closing in on. If we click to open my new leads here, we can see which ones are unassigned, what's been won or lost, new ones in the last 7 days, ones that we need to follow up on. If we look at our contacts, let's maybe we can see that we have these activities underneath our contacts as well. So we can store our different emails and different communications that we've had with that contact. And this also integrates with our Outlook through an Exchange integration if you want more functionality or some basic functionality through an Outlook integration. So for example, I can come into my inbox here and I have this email saying I want another shipment of my usual order. If I bring up my Acumatica window here, you can see it gives me the option. It recognizes which email this came from. I can tie it to a person if it is already a contact in Acumatica. So if I wanted to, for instance, the Aaron Thomas that we just looked at, if I wanted to add it to his and store it under his activities, I could choose him there. Otherwise, I can create a new lead or create a new contact. So I'm just going to say create contact. And I can choose what account I want it associated with. And we're just going to change this a little bit because I'm already a contact. And so we go ahead and hit create. And then I can also log the activity. So now if we go back to Acumatica, I can go ahead and search for Tyler. I see the contact here already created. And if I go under the activities, I can see my email here that I got from him. So very easy to keep track of where all your leads are at, what things you need to follow up on, and again, the integration with Acumatica just keeps everything all organized in one spot with you inside the system, so you're not constantly relying on going back and finding things in your Outlook or etc. And again, the Exchange version of the integration is much more robust and adds even more functionality. So that's all out of the box included in the CRM and marketing pieces of Acumatica. So again, you're not going to see this kind of functionality, especially not included out of the box from any of your legacy systems. So finally, just to recap one more time, we went over logging in and that there's the ability to add two-factor authentication. We showed that it's very easy to switch between companies and color code them so that you know which one's which. The menu functionality, how to navigate the system. We talked about the dashboards and how to customize those. There's also a lot of pre-built dashboards. I mean, we only showed a couple of them, but, you know, sales manager, even AP clerk, I mean, a lot of these are really good to go out of the box and probably don't need much modification to make it how you want it. We talked about some of the user experience, such as adding filters or schedules to automate different tasks. We went through the entire sales order to invoice process, as well as purchasing or inventory replenishment. We showed some of the reporting as far as inquiries and financial reports. And finally, we showed some of the CRM aspects and how to use Acumatica on mobile and how that is all tied in and integrated real time as well. So that concludes our demo of Acumatica. Thank you for your time.